Only in Assetto Corsa could you have a track like this. It is the Frankfurt Hahn Flughorn Revision 0.96. Sorry, my German's terrible. By Christoph, 1954. And in order to explore this mental race circuit, which is also an airfield, I've decided to drive into 1960s Formula cars with the AI, and let's see how well we can do after 2 laps. Just leaving the start-finish line road, I guess that's what you could call it, with the pit lane on the left there, and we're going into what I like to call the sort of airport museum section, because as you go through here we've got some like aircraft storage hangars, and then we've got some nice aircraft museum pieces. Don't know why they tend to do that at airports. They always put old planes on sticks and then put them on like roundabouts. It's just what they do at airports. So that's how you, when you retire as an aircraft, you get put on a stick on a roundabout. That's just how, that's what you do with planes. It's part of a plane's natural progression through life. Squeeze through here, and as you can see though, already we've had quite a lot of variability in the track, and you have loads of really nice flowing corners here. So generally this track is not primarily used, or people playing this track in AC generally are not racing on it. I mean, you can have very fun racing on it, but generally that's not what they're using it for. This is a really commonly used track for people doing cruising and, of course, drifting. As you notice through those windy corners, you can do absolutely monster drift slides. And then because this has got a full runway, and you've got this whole taxiway that we're driving through here, as we pass some military planes on the left, you get to do these absolute monster slides. I'm just seesawing here. But because you've got the runway being so wide, it really allows you to sort of absolutely wangle it through a corner to right angle for like half a kilometre of slide. Which you don't, on many tracks, you don't really get that opportunity. Into the braking here. Now weirdly, the racetrack layout, as you can see here, is you kind of come back on yourself in a sort of weird figure of 8, which does make it a little bit confusing, and it does make the opportunity for head-on collisions quite possible if you're doing your own server and racing with friends. But I would argue that only adds to the excitement of sim racing. Oh my god, car on the left, we're pushing it. Now, we're going to go back onto out of the airport here, underneath the Ryanair plane. I have noticed quite a few times the AI can get stuck here, especially if you've got a lot of cars. They do tend to drive into lampposts. This time though, we've managed to get through it relatively okay, and I've missed the brake point. But we're still going. It's all right. Second gear, we're good. You have this section of road here actually that's really nice, and again, this just feels like you sort of nice, more sort of country lane as the AI is making a move up the inside. Nice move, matey. Bloody hell, I've been absolutely dabbed on here by computers. They're taking over our Sims, taking over our emails. Oh. So the variability of the track surface is really nice. As we've got an accident, he's gone. 360 no scope. Oh. But weirdly, even though this is a fantasy track, and obviously, well, it's based on a real world location actually, but like, it is made up obviously. It actually has a really nice flow to it, and this section here is my favourite part of the track. It's has a very sort of German road feel to it. If you ever drive to the Nordschleife, about sort of an hour away from the Nordschleife, you've got these kind of country roads with little bits of undulations and hills. This really feels exactly like those public roads, and just flows really nice, and it's really satisfying when you hit the brake there going up the hill to get the car to go into that. As I move my 1960s mouse cursor off the screen, many a Formula driver in the past died from moving the mouse cursor on the Nordschleife and accidentally driving into a tree. Fatal. That's why they took mice out of modern Formula cars. Fun facts there. So, look at that. We have done a full lap of the circuit. I am still alive, and that is an achievement on this. Let's try and push it a bit. Love this car, how you have to really modulate the throttle. Let's take my ugly face off. Let's give you some stick, some turgid shaft action. You really have to like play and balance with this vehicle and work at being super smooth with it. Preemptively get it into the corner and then balance the power out as you slap up and down through the gears. This car is actually a phenomenal sim car. We've got contrails. They're turning the frogs sim racers. That's it. That's terrible. We don't want to turn the frogs into sim racers. Whoa! Oh! Bit of wiggly woggly there. We've got Vietnam, Huey. Let's go through the other route here. So you've got this baggage route. You've got a choice here. This really reminds me of the old Need for Speed games. Oh, I can't remember. I don't. We need to go over there and we need to brake. For some reason, I don't often do that layout, this version, that route. But it really does remind me of the old Need for Speed games, the ones that actually had good game design and were fun. You know, the really old ones. Where you could got optional routes, and then obviously the environment as well. It's just really nice. Oh, look at this! Why? It's a French air show. Fair enough. To celebrate the protesters in Paris. Good job. Oh. I'm surprised we made that. I honestly thought we were not going to make that. Oh! Oh! Now, it might look like I'm out of control, but really what I'm demonstrating is how fun the grass in Assetto Corsa is. A thing worth noting with this track as well is that you need to watch out for the cat's eyes or the taxi lights, because they're very big, and on a lot of cars they will really unsettle the vehicle and cause a lot of issues. So you really need to not drive into them. Oh, we've driven into the sign! Absolute disaster for that driver. He's just gunning his throttle. It's a Formula car versus street side as far as he's concerned. He's probably had a few too many brandies in his cockpit, as was tradition in the 1960s. If you look at those sides as well, I've missed the break point. Oh, but we got away with it. What a recovery. You've got signs marking which way to go and what's going on as well, the big pink things. So that's on this race version. As I say, there's loads of different versions of this. When you download this track, there's loads of different layouts for drifting, for cruising, and they all have like different bits to them. So, oh, look at this coming out the gate here. I'm getting Armour vibes. Back onto the satisfying bit of road, and we're almost completed this. We're in 10th place at the moment. I wouldn't say this is the most successful race I've ever had, but every time I drive this, look at the signs whiz past us there. Every time, oh, I've just got the wrong box of neutrals. Every time I drive this, it's such a fun and involving track to just drive around. And I think it is because of the variability of the corners. Oh, come on. Can't believe I've been absolutely spanked by the AI here. Go to the right here, don't we go in the pit lane. And that is it! 2 laps of Frankfurt Han Flughafen track. So there you go, guys. You have to download it. It's an absolutely phenomenal track. I think it's really fun in looser cars, road cars, especially like vintage Formula cars. That's why we went with this Lotus Start 49. It's just fun. It's very hard to get to hands with. The bumps on it can be quite tricky, and it's not the most intuitive of layouts initially, but the large bits of runway, as I say, are really fun for drifting around, and it gives you this space to sort of play with the vehicle a bit. I have to give a huge amount of credit and a big thanks to Red Eye Warrior. I'll post a link to his Twitch in the description and in the top comment. He was the guy that introduced me to this. He does loads of cruising and he's a legend. Yes, just get the track and play it. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Happy tea drinking. Take care. Till the next one. I'm not even making any sense, and my brain's been fried by this track. Happy tea drinking, and goodbye, everyone.